Next, while we still have our test document available to us, let's try out one more thing with images, and that's linking. We can link images just like we link text. In fact, we use the exact same tags and the same procedure. Let's try it out with this Market Street car image that we have down here at the bottom of the page. Now I need something to link it to. So out of my Chapter 4 folder, we do have a copy of the page1.html document that we used before in the linking chapter. This is just a really simple file that says page 1 on it, but we can use it for testing out our links. Let's go into our tryout images document, and down here at the bottom we can see the image tag that's used to place that image on our page. All we need to do is surround that image tag with anchor tags. So let me go right above the paragraph here, and I'll start typing my anchor tag. It's A just like before, and in order for it to be a link, we need an href attribute. We'll use equals and quotes, and I'll simply link this to our page 1 HTML document that we have in the same folder. Of course, our anchor tag needs a close tag, so I'll add that right at the end of the image. And as you can see, we've set up a link with our image just like we have with our text. Let's save this and we'll go try it out. I'll go back to my page and refresh, and I don't see anything different, but I do notice that I get a hand cursor when I roll over the image, and that's the same behavior we have with text links. And of course, if I click it, we should go right out to that page 1 HTML document. Here we've used a relative URL, but you can use absolute URLs with images just as well. All the same rules apply for images that we learned for text in the previous chapters. Of course, images do have one other interesting linking mechanism, and for that, I want to try out a different page. Let's go down to our Chapter 4 folder, and in here I've got a document called Tryout Image Maps. Now let's open that on up, and the first thing we notice is that it's very blank. So let's open this up in our text application, and we'll add an image to it. I'm just going to drag it over to my text edit icon, and we can see that all that's in there is this h1 title tag. So I'm going to go right down below it, and let's add an image tag. I'll need a source, equals and quotes. I'll go ahead and add the close quotes and close off the tag so I don't forget to do that later. And let's go and look at what image we can put into here. In our images folder, I have an image called SF Tour Map that I'd like to use. So let's just put that into our image source attribute. First of all, it's in the images folder, so we'll add that and a slash, and then the file name, which is sf-tour-map.jpg. Now we also want to add the dimensions for this so that we set it up right. So let me just look down here and see how big this image is. The SF Tour Map JPEG is 353 by 500 pixels. So we'll just add the width and height attributes in here and those representative values as well. Don't forget to add quotes and leave a space between each one of the attributes as normal. Now we're ready to take a look at this, so I'm going to save my changes and we'll go out and refresh the browser. And there we can see the image that we've loaded up. Now with this image, you can see that we've got red circles over top of a map indicating some attraction spots in San Francisco. What I would like to do is link those spots out to pages on our site. Now as we saw before, we can do a single link on an image, but we notice here that we're going to have 4 different links. So we're going to need another structure to do that. And that's what our image map is for. Using image maps, we can plot out coordinates that specify certain zones on a picture and make them what we call hotspots. And those hotspots can individually link out to different URLs. So let's go back to our document and see how we can set this image map up. First of all, to create an image map, we use a map tag. The map can be placed anywhere you'd like in your document. I'm going to place it right below the H1 tag, and of course it starts out with the word map. Now, so our maps can be identified and assigned, we're going to add a name attribute. And I'll just give this one a name of SF Map. Your document can have several maps and several images using those maps, but ours is only going to need one. Now, our map tag is going to define those hotspot areas we were talking about. So I'm just going to go down a line or two and add in a close map tag. And to define a hotspot, we're going to use another tag. We're going to use the area tag. So let's go inside of our map and we'll set up an area. These areas are going to be setting up links for us. But the first most important thing about the area tag is that it's going to define a shape. We'll construct that with the shape attribute. I'll set equals and use a quote. And we can actually use 3 different kinds of shapes for our areas. We can use circles, rectangles, or polygons. Since our dots are all circles, I'm going to use circles for mine. Now the next part of our area tag actually defines the size and position of the circle that we're going to be building. And we do that with a coords attribute, short for coordinates. I'm going to set up an equal sign, and then I'll add quotes. And we'll come back and fill this in a moment. I want to complete the basics of the tag first, so the next thing that we need is an actual link, and of course that's done with an href attribute. This attribute works just like the ones in our linked files. Now for this example, I don't have any pages set up, but remember we can link out to other types of files as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to link out to one of the images in our image folder. Every modern browser can display text, HTML, and images. So when we link to it and click, we'll just be able to see the image. For this first one, I'm going to use this Fisherman's Wharf sign. And the href for that would be images, remember it's in the images folder, / fisherman's-wharf-sign.jpg. And lastly, our area tags are empty. We're not going to enclose anything with them. So I'm just going to put a self-closing tag at the end. Now let's see what we can do about those coordinates. Basically what we need to do is identify the position and the size for the circle that we're going to use as a hotspot. If we wanted a rectangle, the shape would be rect, and our coords would be the upper left corner of our rectangle in pixels and the lower right corner. Now if you use polygons, the shape value would be poly, and the coords would simply be x and y pairs, and you can use that to trace out any kind of shape you want. But we were going to work with circles. Now to find the coordinates, we're going to use an image program, and you can use any one you want. I'm going to use Photoshop here because it's very popular, and I'll just open up the SF Tour map in my Photoshop program. And here it is. What I'm looking for is something like the Information tab here. The Information tab actually traces my coordinates as I move them around the page, and the measurements are all in pixels. So what I'm going to do is put my cursor right in the middle of the Fisherman's Wharf dot, and I can see that the X and Y location for that is 73 and 96. And I've measured out the size of the circles. They're about 30 pixels in radius. So now we're ready to add that information into our HTML page. For the coordinates of a circle, we simply give the X and Y location of the center, and then the radius of the circle, all in pixels. So I'm going to enter 73, 98, and 30. Now we've got one area defined. We need to make sure that our image map is going to use that area. So we're going to add an attribute to our image tag that tells it to use this map. And that's useMap. We'll have an equal sign, quotes, and then we simply give the name of the map that we're looking for. But we want to make sure that the program is looking for the map on this page. So we're going to start off with the number or pound sign, just like we did with marked anchors. And then we'll add in the name, sfmap. Now it's time to test it out. We'll save our document, and then we'll go back to the browser. I'm going to refresh the page, and I'm going to roll my cursor over this map. When I get close to the Fisherman's Wharf location, you can see that it changes to a hand cursor, and that indicates that we've got a link right there. If I click it, it links out to my Fisherman's Wharf picture. And you'll notice that I don't have the hand cursor anywhere else on this document. Now, normally when you're using hotspots like this, you'll have several of them, and I'll just set one other one up so that we can see how it works. We'll do the one for Pier 39. First of all, I'll copy the area tag that we did from the last one, and just paste it in again, and now we have 2 areas inside of our maps. Both of them are going to use circles, and I've already measured out the location of the Pier 39 one. The coordinates will be 175, 69, and the circle's the same size, so we'll leave that at 30. For this one, I want to link out to a different image as well, so I'm going to take away the Fisherman's Wharf sign, and we'll just add in there our Pier 39 picture, which is named Pier 39-Seals. Let's save our changes, and let's go out and try it. I'll refresh the page, and when I roll my cursor around now, you can see that I have a hand cursor on Pier 39 as well. And we can even play with that circle. We can see that we did a pretty good job of measuring it because my hand cursor appears right where the pink circle starts. And of course, if I click on it, we load up the Pier 39 Seals picture. A lot of developers have different strategies on using maps, but as you can see, it's actually a good technique when you're dealing with something like a physical picture of a map and you're trying to link multiple locations off of it.